Yo, welcome to the Choppin It Up podcast featuring your boy Jordan.
What up? It's your boy Eric.
And we're back at it with something different.
Yeah, we're doing something a little different.
So we put out a topic request on our Choppin It Up page, and thankfully we had some of our Choppin It Up family that reached back out to us with just some pretty good ideas. And so we picked one of them, and today we're going to talk about the music phases that we went through throughout our whole lives so far.
Yeah, we'll talk about growing up.
Yeah,
the different things that we were into,
Yeah.
different phases that we kind of went through, and how they kind of affected our life at that point.
This is something that I can't wait to talk about because honestly I never really thought about this just kind of off the bat. It's because you think about, man, over the years, starting from where we were born to where we are now, we had to adjust to different music. We had to, we were introduced to different genres. And so I'm just thankful that our Choppin' It Up fam sent us a request because of this, because this is a great topic to talk about because everybody has their own phases. Everybody has their own history. But to kind of see, Eric, where you went through with your music and where I went through with my music and the phases that I went through, it's important that we kind of talk about that because it's just interesting to talk about it. So, man, let's get into it, bro.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and get started with where you started. I don't know if you started listening to music as soon as you came out the womb. Like, what was music like growing up?
I have a little story because this is kind of like basically my dad always tells a story. But before I was even born, when I was in my mom's belly, my dad used to put like a little, this is back in the day, but like a little radio or like a little CD player to my mom's stomach, and it would be like some smooth jazz or some type of, very R&B, but I think it was smooth jazz that he said. And, when I heard the music, apparently I was always kicking, like I was active, and my dad always says that's the reason who I am now, the reason why I love smooth jazz and old school R&B and all that, because he kind of started, the wavelengths of that. He kind of started putting that music to my mama's belly, and to this day, bro, I'm so old school, bro. Like I have my days where, of course I listen to the modern stuff that we have now, but I have my days to where I'm listening to a lot of old school R&B, a lot of smooth jazz that honestly, bro, not a lot of people that I know listen to. And that's okay. I'm cut for different cloth, but I remember there's been times, bro, where I would play some smooth jazz and some old school R&B in the car with some of my homies. They're like, bro, what is this? Like, you over here playing feel good music, bro? We trying to be chilling. I'm like, man, honestly, bro, like smooth jazz for me is kind of like it helps me calm down. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their music that helps, but smooth jazz was just like the thing where I just be in the car with my windows down, bro, just driving. And people think like, bro, get your 40-year-old, 50-year-old looking like, cause bro, like when I would go to concerts, when I would go to events, and I would go with my dad, like I'm always like the youngest one there because
for sure
there ain't like nobody likes that. I mean, there's people that I know that love smooth jazz, but I'm always one of the youngest there because I just have that old school mentality,
But that old soul.
Bro, but honestly, bro, like I'm thankful for it because it's just like it makes me who I am now, and. I think for me, man, it's just like, even as a drummer, like I kind of watched a lot of smooth jazz drummers. Yeah. Them boys are cold, you know what I'm saying? And so they got chops, bro. And so I think for me, just really at my childhood with my dad just doing that, it kind of helped me, in a sense, man, enjoy what music is, especially back in the day, because we see what it is now. And then compared to what it was back then, and R&B is not the same anymore. R&B now is more explicit. Not saying that it wasn't back then, but it was definitely more extreme now. And they go into detail about what they about to do. Yeah. Back then, it was like, hey, shorty, let me get your number. You know what I'm saying? Meet me at the the coffee shop. Like, it's all more, making love and all that.
It was kind of like, they were just kind of pointing with the idea and giving you not the exact details of what's about to go down.
Now they telling you what's about to go down for this, and like it's crazy. And so it just shows you how much music has changed. But even too, man, just like if I'm listening to an old school song, or even to like music now, and I listen to what music was like back then, it's like you hear a lot of samples that was from old hip hop or old R&B stuff, and so Really, man, that's one of my biggest phases, music phases. It was really like in my childhood, bro.
In your childhood,
because that's where it all started, and I kind of went into doing rock because I was in a band where we play rock music, and I had my phase where I was listening to a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers and Green Day and stuff like that. I would have never thought that I was gonna get into rock. Like, really, rock? Like, that's not who I was. And growing up in the church, I never was ever listening to rock, but I had my small little phase, bro, where I played in a band for a year and a half or whatever, and we played just straight up rock music, bro, and I enjoyed it. Like, it was fun. Like, it was different for me. And then of course going from that to really enjoying more hip hop and rap and getting to a lot of what Tupac was like and just a lot of the old school stuff, old school rap. And so my phases is up and down, man. Yeah. It's up and down, and I still have my love for R&B. I still have my love for jazz, but I'm thankful that I'm kind of growing, bro, because I'm starting to love reggae now. Like, reggae is like what I love to listen to, and my dad was always a big fan of it. I was like, reggae, it just sounds so weird. Like, at the time, now it's like, this reggae is pretty dope, And so, but yeah, my phases are pretty simple. It just started off, man, just from the bottom with me being a little kid. My dad putting the radio to my mom's belly, and it's smooth jazz, and now I'm at a concert. The youngest one there, just like bubbling my head while all these old people with gray hairs, like like stuff like that. And so, yeah, man, like it kind of makes me think about it more. Like, wow, like it's kind of cool to see how my life has been going through a journey and listening to different music. And so that's kind of how my phases, bro.
Yeah. So do you think that your music phases affected your like sense of style, your sense of identity?
Yes and no. I think, in a sense, I would say yes, because honestly, I feel like if I was raised listening to more hip hop and rap, I would be a different person. If that makes any sense. But with me, well, because like if I was raised listening to like a lot of hip hop, a lot of rap, and they kind of talk about that, that mentality, is like I would be kind of a different person. But with me being R&B and more old school, I have an old school heart. Like I'm very, like, bro, I remember one time, bro, this is back in middle school, my dad literally dressed me up like I was like an old school man. Like, I was like wearing slacks to school. I was wearing dress shirts, bro. Like, at the time, like, Dad, why did you even do that? Like, that's corny. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, like, it didn't bother me because that's who I thought I was. I thought I was like an old school young cat.
Yeah, you thought you were an old head.
Yeah. I thought I was an old school young cat, bro, walking in looking like I'm about 40, you know, in middle school. And I was wearing dress shoes. I'm like, looking back at it, it's funny to me now. But it's just like stuff like that. If I was raised differently, I would definitely be a different person. Sagging my pants and doing stuff like that. Like, stuff like that. Yeah. It depends on who your parents raised you to be, you know? Yeah. And so I hope I answered that question, because I think my identity is still who I am, but I think music is definitely, like, you know, with me listening to a lot of old school stuff, has made me be an old school person, have an old school heart, because I was kind of raised on that old school stuff, you know? For sure. Yeah, so that's kind of how, anyway, I guess for me, my identity is kind of just staying old school, bro, because that's who I know I am. So
for sure. Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah. So I went through so many phases in music.
I can't wait for this one.
Like, I don't even know where to start. Yeah. You know, because I guess I'll start as a kid, you know, as a very, very, very early, you know, as a child. Yeah. Probably till I was about, I don't know, like 8 maybe. Yeah. Or something like that. So, of course, my parents are Mexican. They grew up in Mexico their whole lives. And I was born here, though. And so I wasn't raised with any of the, like, English music, like the American music. I was raised to listen to Mexican music and whatever they were listening to.
Suavemente. No, I'm just kidding.
Boy.
That's my song, bro. I'll go up and make you sing that, bro. I'll be that much like, hey. But I know that's a little different, though.
Yeah, so it's...
Don't fire me up.
So the type of music that they listened to was a lot of norteño music, which is like what literally means like northern music. Okay. And so they're from Chihuahua, Mexico, which is the upper part of Mexico, literally like borders like the U.S. kind of thing. And so I listened to a lot of norteño music, and one of my favorite artists growing up was Los Tucanes de Tijuana.
Oh, say that about 45 times. I'm gonna get it wrong each time. He said that's so smooth, bro. Dang.
And so
say it again.
Los Tucanes de Tijuana.
What? Get your smooth talking. Look here. All right, go ahead.
So, growing up, they were like, I was like, I used to pretend I was part of the group. Like I had an accordion. Yeah. Like your boy was like all about it. They had, yes, exactly. Like they had this thing where the accordion player had like this rag and he would like play and then he would like do this thing, do this dance, and like I had family members that would always be like, "Hey, do your dance, do your dance." Yeah. And I think there's video somewhere or like there's pictures of me somewhere. Yeah. Where I'm literally like.
I gotta see this.
I'll try to pull them up. If I can get them, I will put them in the video.
I'm gonna have to fire you up about that. Yeah.
But so I had that, and so music has been a part of me like my entire life because all of my uncles played in bands, Mexican bands. They all sang. They all played an instrument. My dad like didn't necessarily play music or anything, but he did try to like play the piano and stuff. Yeah. But it was all like. Mexican music related. My mom can sing really well, and
that's awesome, bro.
So like music's just always been around me.
Sure.
It wasn't until I met them that my parents to this day tell this story about how I was obsessed with them, but then they took me to go see this band that came to Dallas, and I got to meet them, got to hang out with them, they signed my hat, bro. They signed my cowboy hat, like everything. And then after that, I did not care.
What?
They say it was the weirdest thing. Like I met them and it was just like,
what?
It was like I fulfilled the.
Yeah, you were good at that point.
Yeah, and so at that point, I kind of grew out of that phase of listening to only Mexican music because my cousins started listening to different types of music, and going into elementary, starting maybe like second grade or something like that. My cousins started listening to a lot of the southern hip hop that was going on.
Yeah, so, bro.
They were listening to Paul Wall, like Chameleonaire,
where you
Screw,
at? Yeah.
And they were listening to an artist called SPM, which I don't know if anybody knows who that is. South Park Mexican. He was a rapper back in the day.
Okay. I might have some homies that know.
He's in jail for some stuff that we will not talk about.
Yeah.
But basically listening to a lot of hip hop. And I started listening to that stuff. I started kind of dressing like that, being part of that, simulating to what they were doing because my cousin was wearing, like, tall tees.
Well, yeah.
And he was starching up his pants.
Bro, the clothing phases.
Yeah.
It's definitely a phase that will be another topic that I want to talk about for sure.
So, like everything. I was, I wanted to be cool like them. I wanted to be like them. And, of course, I had, the fade.
Yeah,
like,
the fade and
everything. I was wearing my Air Forces, like I was trying to be cool, man.
Baggy pants,
little chunky kid, like trying to be cool. But started listening to whatever my cousins were listening to, and so that's what they were into. I was never I never listened to country, none of that stuff growing up because no one around me did. Yeah. No one listened to rock music. No one listened to any of that, so I didn't know about anything.
I think that's important too. Is that like. You're a product of your environment.
Exactly.
You're a product of your environment. If my dad never put me on to smooth jazz and R&B and all that, I think I probably would have went a different route and listened to more hip hop or whatever first, even though it's the opposite. And so it's just a product of your environment.
It's whatever,
man.
People around you, like that's the thing. Like
that's what you're gonna go towards.
I was listening to all this music just because that's what who was around me. I didn't have access to. I'm gonna go out and buy CDs or something. Like, I didn't know.
We ain't had Apple Music back then.
What?
Yeah.
Like people. I remember, like in elementary, I was in bilingual classes up until third grade. And in third grade, when they moved me to all English, it was literally a culture shock for me because I was like, who are all these white people? And not throwing shade.
Yeah.
But it was just like really weird to me because none of these people spoke Spanish, and none of these people were a part of that culture. And so like everybody, I had kids ask me about if I listen to like Britney Spears or if I listen to NSYNC or this or that, and I'm like, I don't know who that is, dude.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man?
Yeah. You
and
don't
I was
know.
like, do you know who Paul Wall is?
Yeah.
I was like, do you know who Chameleon is?
Yeah.
And
you're on a different. Yeah, you were different.
Yeah, it was a different place, and so, of course, you know, I was listening to hip hop and stuff like that, and then I got to middle school.
Yeah.
And middle school, Guitar Hero happened.
Bruh, hey, low key, I miss Guitar Hero, bro. That was the
Guitar
game.
Hero was awesome.
Yeah, I was cold on the guitar too.
And Guitar Hero was introduced to me, and my cousin got this iPod from one of his friends. She had loaded her iPod with like everything. I'm telling you, there was every kind of music you could ever imagine was on that iPod, and I still to this day don't know who she was. Yeah. But she had great taste in music, and so I remember we would just listen to whatever was on it. And shout out to Junior for
what up?
Always,
what up, Junior? What's good?
Yeah. You know, we would just listen to whatever was on that iPod. I remember that's where I was introduced to a lot of genres.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we hooked up the iPod to my cousin's computer, and there was like music videos on it.
Oh, word.
And so one of the first music videos that I saw was this music video for a band called I Set to Kill.
Oh, wow.
And I remember I was like, what is this? And I clicked on it, and I watched it, and at the end of it, and I was like, what the heck did I just watch? What is this? And it was weird because it was like emo kid music. And I was like, I don't know if I should I don't know if I'm supposed to be liking this, but I kind of really liked it, and so I kind of watched it again. Yeah. And I was like, this is awesome.
Got you hooked all of a sudden.
So then I started listening to bands like The Devil Wears Prada, Under Oath, which are all like these like scene kid bands. But at the same time, you know, in middle school, me and my friend, we used to listen to Lil Wayne a lot. A lot. Everything he put out, we thought was
Lil Wayne.
flames.
Yeah, bro. Middle school, bro. Lil Wayne was like
the GOAT.
The GOAT for sure.
Like whenever like a Millie dropped, like,
bro.
Fire.
That used to be the thing we used to always play back in school, bro. No matter what, like of course they would cut out the cuss words, but every time we had that for the socials, bro, all the time they would have Lil Wayne and his stuff, bro. Every time. And
so Lil Wayne, of course, started listening to a bunch of stuff, but in middle school, I started kind of going through some emotional stuff, and it kind of pushed me into this phase where I went into an emo phase, as people call it, or a scene kid phase or whatever. And so going into high school, I was kind of this like already like, this is who I am kind of thing. I'm an emo kid.
And you walked in all black. Nails black.
Like, I didn't paint my nails because my parents would literally have killed me.
What you had thought about?
Yeah, legit. I was going to do it. I was going to paint my hair black. Like, I was going to wear like eyeliner, like all the way, like emo kid. Yeah, but my parents would have literally killed me.
I'm like, boy, you don't get your dark looking.
And so freshman year, you know, I walk in, long hair, this emo kid that's like, you know, this is who I am. Like, it's not a phase, mom. It's like, you know, kind of this thing. And so I was listening to a lot of like screamo, emo, just depression music, and listening to bands like Bullet for My Valentine, Escape the Fate.
One of my favorite bands.
Blackville Bride. Oh, for real?
Yeah, bro. Icy, dog. Icy, bro. They cold, bro. For real.
And I was listening to a band called Blackville Brides, which I'm going to get made fun of so hard by a specific person for even saying that.
Uh-oh, I'm curious.
But I was listening to these bands, and like I was going through a really emotional time in my life. But I will say, music has always been there. Like, no matter what phase in my life I was going through, there was always something that I can kind of
go to.
Yeah, so kind of something that kind of pushed me through like moments like this where I felt like these people kind of understood where I was at, and kind of I could kind of just feel better by hearing what they were saying, and the kind of almost the encouragement I was getting and stuff like that from the music, that it was like someone else is feeling this way too.
Yeah, music is there's always a song for any emotion.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's always a song for any emotion. So if you wish you were trying to talk to that shorty over there, you're gonna listen to some something that's gonna be like, man, I've been trying to get it for so long, but she don't like a brother like that. There's gonna always be a song for every emotion, bro.
Yeah.
Which is good because that's why I love music so much, because it helps you. Now there can be some song that doesn't help, the situation.
Oh yeah, there's definitely there's music out there that I don't know who's listening to it and being like, yep, feel better.
Yeah. And it reminds you of some stuff.
There's different things for
sure,
different occasions.
Yeah,
but So I'm sorry that I'm talking forever, but
you good, bro. This is
your
life, dog.
I literally have phases on phases on phases of music because I was that kid.
See, I'm bland. Eric has his.
I'm weird. I am a different kind of person.
Ain't nothing wrong with being weird, bro. It's all good.
And I'm cool with it. I am not ashamed of the phases that I went through because, you know what? If I didn't go through these phases, I wouldn't have the.
You wouldn't be who you are now.
I would not have the appreciation I do for music and the appreciation I do for, people who are in that same phase.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, was going through this emo kid phase, and then I hit sophomore year of high school, and I kind of grew out of it. Started, realizing some things. Started maturing in a lot of ways, and I instead of like going back and listening to like hip hop and stuff like that, I went further into the genre of like, rock and metal and all that stuff. So I started listening to a lot more heavier music. My music taste changed into a heavier style. So I started listening to death metal, black metal, extreme metal, like all sorts of really intense, just hard, just like brutal, just like
like man, calm down, homie.
Yeah, like that. And it was it was kind of me. It was almost like going through like the stages of grief almost. It was like me kind of going I was going through like sadness. I was going through anger, and so like the angst was real.
Yeah, the music. Yeah, you definitely have some songs that can help you.
And so I was listening to this stuff, but I also, out of like listening to this music, I was able to kind of see the technicality that went behind some of these artists' music, like listening to like the Black Dahlia Murder, which is a melodic death metal band, and they're listening to the different ways that they were able to make guitar sound, and how it was really about at the core of it, their music theory was kind of phenomenal. Like they were able to make things work that no one would have thought about.
For sure, yeah.
And so it kind of expanded my brain in that sense of like listening to the technicality of things, and in doing so, like after that, like my junior year of high school, I was able to get into different genres of music because of that. So I started listening to some indie music. So my music kind of calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, relaxed a little bit.
But started listening to indie music. One of my friends, who when I was working at GameStop my sophomore year, introduced me to Pink Floyd, and that changed my entire life forever.
It's a legendary band right there.
Yeah, that's my favorite band.
Awesome, bro.
Of all time.
That's what's up.
And so started listening to that, started listening to jazz, started listening to...
There you go.
Yeah.
Jazz getting some love. Yeah, that's what's up.
Started listening to folk music.
Okay.
Started like really appreciating music for what it was.
Yeah.
Like it's not about this music is better than that music. It's about what music speaks to you at that moment.
Absolutely.
And what can music do to you, and what
Absolutely.
So my appreciation of music like really opened up through listening to all of this like heavy music, and listening to emo kid, and listening to Mexican music, and listening to all this. So it just, my thing with music is appreciate it for what it is.
Absolutely.
I don't listen to country music, and that's not a...
I got the horses in the bag.
Yeah, I got the horses in the bag. But
yeah.
I don't listen to country music, and it's just a preference. Like, it's not because I hate it, not because I think it's bad. It's just, it's not for me, but I can, from afar, appreciate it for what it is.
Absolutely. No, music is Music is so important, man. Honestly, man, I don't know where I would be without it. It's done so much for me. And it's kind of great to kind of hear your story about it because you definitely went through, and I did too. But it's kind of cool to see how people go through their phases of music.
Yeah.
How to go from childhood to middle school to high school to like college to now. Like music is gonna always grow. It's gonna always evolve. But music is gonna always be there with you through the journey. That's important.
Like you bring like to me, it's crazy how music can take you back to a moment. Like it's almost like the song is literally like a time machine.
Yeah.
And you listen to it and you're able to feel, you're able to see, you're able to like be in the environment that you were in whenever you first listened to it or whenever you were in that moment of period. Because there's songs where I listen to it and it takes me back mentally. Like I'm able to see where I was in that moment in time. It is insane to me.
Yeah,
that's what music does to me. Like, you know, some people say that smells remind them of things. Yeah, and which sometimes that happens to me. But music to me, like I can listen to a song and pinpoint the exact point in time where I was at when I first heard it or whenever that was relevant to me.
Music has history, man. It's gonna always have history with it. And that's the important thing that we realize, that no matter what phases or whatever we're going through, music can help. You know, music can help. There's always a song for whatever emotion that you're going through. But man, it's just important, man. It kind of just makes me think back on a lot of things, man. Just knowing that, wow, like I went through this phase, and now I'm in my current phase where I'm trying to listen to a lot of different artists. And it's just like, it's going to always evolve, bro.
Yeah, like it evolves with you, your music.
It's crazy.
Taste. And that's something that, like, when I was in that phase that I was like, this is who I am, Mom, it's not a phase. Like, I was like, this is what I'm going to listen to forever. And then I realized that, you know, your music taste, it evolved, but it doesn't mean that you forget where you came from kind of thing. But it's also like, you start appreciating different things. Something that I was telling one of my friends about, I might have already talked about it on the podcast before. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah. But I was talking about how music is almost like a language in itself. Like, once you start listening to different genres, I feel like something happens in your brain where you can start understanding different languages, which is the music. So, like, you know, you can start listening to things from different regions. You might not necessarily know what they're saying. Yeah. But it's almost like you can because you can understand the feeling. You can understand the kind of the structure of the song and different things
how it was worked out, like everything, every production, everything. The phases of music for me is a journey that I'm so proud of that I've gone through, because it's just helped me evolve over time. Yeah. And I think that's important that we realize that, is because whatever phase that we've gone through is always a phase, but it's going to always be there with you, and you're going to always reflect back on that. And I have music on my phone, bro, back from years and years ago, and it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to always be on your iPod or CDs, whatever. And that's the great thing about music, man. It's going to always be there with you. And so I'm just thankful, man, that I'm able to enjoy music. I'm able to listen to music. I'm able to experience, go to concerts, and have fun, because there's a lot of great artists out here that are working hard in the studio and putting in their time to create good music for us to listen to. And so I'm just thankful, bro, because music is such a blessing to me, man.
Me too.
And so
I totally feel that. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And yeah, man. Music has for sure taken us on some type of journey.
Oh, it's a journey, bro. We went on boat rides, we went on everything. Like, we've been through it, bro. The waves, everything. It's honestly one of the best journeys, and that we're still going through. We're just not getting started.
Music taste still changes. My music, it evolves. Yeah. I wouldn't say it changes. I would just say it evolves. Yeah. It adds. It keeps going. Keeps adding. Like, it ain't going nowhere. It's like this train that I'm on, and that, like, I have all these cabooses and stuff following me.
For sure.
But love music. This is a really cool topic to
I
talk
love it.
about.
And I think we should go back to it soon. I think this is a topic that we can continue to talk about. This can go on forever.
Yeah, we can talk about our current evolution of music.
Yeah, this can go on for a long time. And so definitely let us know. What are your phases? What have you gone through?
Yeah, what have you guys?
What was your childhood and your middle school, high school life like? Because we all had our phases. We all had our music that we kind of related to. But definitely let us know. But also, too, let us know if any other topics that you guys would like for us to talk about. We're open. We like to have fun. We like to talk about different things.
We can literally talk about whatever we want.
Exactly.
This is our podcast.
It's our podcast. And so, you know, you guys are our family as well. So let us know, you know, what's up. And we definitely going to follow back and do what we can to talk about it. But this is the Choppin It Up podcast. And we'll be back at it with another episode. Thank you guys for all the love and support. And we out.
We out.
Peace.